Everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of the Extraordinary Men Podcast. You guys know who I am by now. If you don't know who I am by now, shame on you. But in case you guys did not see the name in my bottom left-hand corner, I am Phil Jones or Mike Jones, however you guys know me personally or professionally, and I am the host of the Extraordinary Men Podcast. So you guys know the absolute most greatest person on the face of the planet, which I don't understand because he got this bright white light going on his bright white Cubs hat. But because he's wearing a Cubs hat, I ain't got no slander for him today. The single greatest anomaly figure known to mankind when it comes down to the epic proportions of hosting, co-hosting, and hosting accessories. Mr. Camera, Mr. Technology, Mr. Money Mondays. State your name, man.
What is going on? Got to keep that same energy. I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
All right. So, time to get into it. I don't know if y'all remember last week, we had the conversation about the fact, are you in control of your own destiny? That is the question. For he is the east and I am the sun. For you are a Capulet and I am a Montague. What do you say, King Midas? Do you control your own destiny, yay or nay?
No.
Okay. Anybody who is in the chat right now, or anybody who is tuning into this podcast right now, anytime in the future, I am obligating you to speak on behalf of this concept in the chat.
Yeah, please. And let us know where you repping from, too.
You better tell us, because we'll find
you.
He's a computer genius. He runs IP addresses.
So no. And here's why. Because the you deal with the hand that's dealt. You understand, and you work with what you got. Now, of course, you're going to go out there, and especially if you're a go-getter. Yes, you're going to, push and try to put yourself in the best position possible. But that's not to say that every single move that you make is going to be the best move. And that's not to say that every move that you make is going to elevate you to the next milestone that you're trying to hit. You may have to hit maybe 3 more things in that next step before you could jump to the next milestone. And even when you jump to that next milestone, you might hit a block. Like you just don't know how things are going to pan out. You don't know which way things are going to go. Like, and I spoke about this before. When I started fixing game consoles and computers. Then from there, I expanded into doing cell phones and tablets. Then from there, I expanded into doing security cameras and things of that nature. Now I'm involved in an industry that I have no clue at all. I'm a technical engineer for a construction company. I don't know anything about construction, but on the technical side, I know software, I know hardware, I know policies and procedures and things of the nature when it comes to IT. I'm also helping with their digital menu boards and things of that nature. So I'm helping in that aspect with producing their software and getting it up and running and getting everybody trained and acclimated to using it and things of that nature. But as far as using a bulldozer or something like that, I don't know. And that's what I mean by you're not necessarily in control of your destiny, because I had no clue that I was finna end up, my journey was gonna put me on this path of working as a consultant for this company. I had no idea, so I mean, of course, your hustle, your grind, your quality of work, your work ethic, insert, positive annotations here. everything that you've built when it comes to you as a person and your company and what you're trying to do and pursue, you have no idea where it's going to take you. So no, you have no control of your destiny. You know, for all you know, this Extraordinary Men podcast, we may end up getting a sponsorship from Bass Pro Shops. We had no idea, but we did. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like you don't know where the destiny is going to take you. Like nothing. And the word destiny to me sounds like something that is prophesized, something that is written in a stone tablet, and for you to take people with you and split seas and carry them to the other side. But when I hear the word destiny, that's what I think of. So that's my argument.
Okay. You already know how I play. So let's just get right down to the meat and potatoes.
Okay.
You see, I like to play with real words. One thing that you very seldom will hear me say is what something means to me, because I play with real words. I play with real definitions.
But yeah,
before I get your example of what you gave sounds more like you're conflating destiny with destination. No, you do not know your destination, because if you're going in the path, you may think you're going to end somewhere, but you may ultimately deviate away from that path and end at a different destination. Destiny is not that at all. You are actually somewhat on the ballpark according to what the actual definition of a destiny is. When you started talking about the written in the tablets and stuff like that. According to the actual definition of what the word destiny means,
mm-hmm.
the events that will necessarily happen to a particular person or thing in the future. When you look at that word and what that word is saying, it's not saying that there's any specifics involved in whether it is or isn't will or won't. So that's why I said when I listened to your definition, it sounded more like a conflation of destination and not destiny, because they kind of split off at a certain point to where one is more so of a manifested reality versus the other one is, I don't know where I'm going to end up. Yeah. Let's go a little further to the meaning pool.
Wait. Before you do that, I know it's your turn. My bad, but I want to talk about that second one there.
The hidden power believed to control what will happen in the future. Faith.
The key word there is believe.
So, whoa. Let me finish my part, because now you going into my piece.
Okay.
Don't do that. Something to which a person or thing is destined, fortune, wants to control his destiny, a predetermined course of events often held to be irresistible power or agency. Now, oftentimes when the word destiny is associated, it is associated in terms of something that is already predefined. When most people talk about following their destiny, they're generally associated with this belief that a higher power, a spirit, God, or whomever has already laid out the foundation for them, and they just have to walk the path and they will get to wherever it is that God intends for them to go.
Correct. That's where I was going with it. Correct.
Now, when it comes down to it, again, we have to be very careful about how we use these words, because although they may sound alike, destiny is not a route to destination. It is not a root word. A destination is where you intend to end. So if I go to school for 4 years to go and get a degree in business,
mm-hmm.
and I graduate with that degree in business, I made it to my destination. My destiny may have nothing to do with a business degree. Nothing at all.
So if you click right there where it says similar, you'll see a little drop down arrow at the end of Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
That drop down arrow, and then right there next to Providence, what's that word? That other P word.
So predestination.
Predestination.
Hold on, because you about to do something. You got to make sure you click all the way on the word and get the whole definition. Predestination, the divine foreordaining of all that will happen, especially with regard to the salvation of some and not others. It has a particularly associated with the teachings of St. Augustine, of Hippo, and of Calvin. So predestination is solely associated with a religious belief that is rooted in Calvinism and the teachings of St. Augustine. So unless you qualify in that very small sector of people who are rooted around, I don't want to say small because Catholicism revolves around the teachings of St. Augustine.
Bless.
Thank you.
Bless.
So you could say in some senses Christianity. Let's just throw it out there. I'm not going to go too deep off into trying to break down the differences. But realistically, the big thing that comes down into play when you are looking at that definition is that definition that we're looking at for predestination is solely associated with religious belief. It is completely null and void to someone who is not rooted in a religious belief. So if you feel that you get up every day and you write your own script to your own movie, you are saying that you feel that you are in control of your own destiny. Now, are you in control of your own destination? No. So destiny saying that I will be successful. What I will be successful at is part of the destination. So right here, my destiny says that I decide how I will live, and dealing in my destination is something that will be determined as I go along that path.
But what dictates you being successful, or what your success is?
You.
Then how do you establish? But you going off what's called other similar words: fate, chance, luck.
No, I'm not.
Please.
If I say that if I make it to the end of the year and my rent was paid for 12 consecutive years and I deem that as a success, nobody can tell me that it's not. I determine that for myself. Now, I might be flat broke and I have nothing else in the savings account, but at the same time, it's like if I felt like I was able to get through, because where I came from to determine what the next level of appreciation is for me, that is solely defined. So for somebody who last year was not able to pay their rent, that is able to consistently pay their rent for this year, to them, this may be success. So self-defined.
I mean that okay, we'll take the small win, but what about somebody that wanted to go to college, got into college, didn't finish college? They had a belief that they were going to go all the way, but was finishing college their destiny, or was it not their destiny?
That's to be determined. Because what are the many?
Say what now?
I said that's to be determined. What are the factors? Because obviously, in most things, it's just like when you start dealing in words like
matter when it comes to destiny.
Absolutely. Because if you believe that your destiny is in your own hand, you have to understand that if I go in and I stab somebody in a school, that was a choice. So I altered the steps of my destiny solely because of the fact that I had whatever that was going on. I don't believe that at any rate that it was just predetermined in the tablet that I'm going to stab somebody or that I'm going to physically harm somebody. So there's certain things like, what if I get into a car accident and it wasn't my fault? It was a freak situation. Somebody might believe, oh, well, God ordained that to happen. It's like when you think about it, and again,
So
it's like,
destiny for you to get in that car accident.
well, because again, it's like when you're talking about destiny, you have two different ideologies, right? One ideology is that there's an external force that is creating the reason why this is happening, and you have to follow the course. And then there's another part of it that you feel that if something happens, you take ownership for the reason what happened and you keep pushing along.
But do you classify that as destiny then by taking ownership of that situation? Not we off the car accident, but if you take ownership of any situation, I might have screwed up, or hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take on this task, whatever. How does that then become deemed your part of your destiny? Like how?
Well, again, this is where the two schools
For you to take that task.
well, this is where the two schools of thought differ. Because if you think that you are in control, then you're going to continue to make decisions that you feel that you are in control in. So you have a danger and you have a extreme benefit on both sides of the spectrum.
Mhm.
You have this group of people over here that say my destiny is not my own. A lot of them are not ambitious because they feel like they're waiting on God to solve the problem for them, or they're waiting on some external factor to solve the problem for them. They believe that if they pray on it, or if something, or the universe is going to make it all balance out, that it's all going to work out somehow. They believe that there are external forces that create balance, that good and bad happens to everybody. It's just my turn, but I will get my good. It's going to weigh itself out one way or another. That's that school of thought. Then you have this school of thought that says, if I want to make $1 million, the only way I'm going to make $1 million is not going to fall in my lap. I got to go get it. So I'm going to have to deal with obstacles. I'm going to have setbacks, regardless of the external things that happen. I have to push through those external things because they are either going to be hindrances or they're going to be things that help thicken my armor to make me stronger to go into those things. But I feel like no matter what happens to me, I am the only thing standing between me and that $1 million. Those are the differences between the two schools of thought. Both of them are related to a destiny. It's just that this person over here thinks that I am in control of making sure that I get what it is that I want. And this person believes that the universe, God, Vishnu, SpongeBob, or whomever that they believe is going to somehow make it all work out. Neither one of them are offbeat from destiny, because it's all talking about a fate that is unknown. But I feel like that unknown fate I have more control of on this side, and I feel like this unknown fate that I'm going to endure is going to happen regardless. So therefore, I shouldn't stress about it. Don't worry about it. It's just part of life. It's going to balance out. It's going to work itself out just fine.
I really don't have a comeback for that. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact that you break it down into, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like you agree with me and then you don't. And then it's like it makes sense and then it don't. It's like I see, you get what I'm saying? Like
It's because it's a school of thought thing. Like there's really no wrong answer. It's almost the equivalent of a rhetorical question. So when you ask a person, do you feel like your destiny is in your own hands?
that's why I'm confused, because I feel like I'm stuck in a cyclical question.
Yeah, because to some degree, you know that things are going to happen that are outside of your control. But then in the other degree, you know that you would not have what you have if you did not take it upon yourself to go and get what you have. So
Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. All right. So in a nutshell, so you know what I'm saying, because I would like to
segue.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, I think because I lived so long, and again, of course, when you grow, you become more open minded. And once I heard you say that there's actually two lanes to it, yeah, it started to make a lot more sense to me. Like, okay, the lane that you spoke on is the way that I was thinking about it, to where, to me, I thought that destiny is this was written in stone, like this is your life, then it's already written for you. All you doing is going through the pre-written novel to get to where you're trying to go, if you ever get there. But to hear this other opposite side of it, to where, well, especially when you broke down the million, what I'm saying, you lost me at first, but then when you brought up, of course you're going to run into different barriers and things of that nature, and this, but you keep at it, you keep hustling, you're going to hit it eventually. That made sense.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of situations, what happens is that we look at situations based on our lived experiences. Our lived experiences determine a lot of how our understanding is. And one of the things that happens, and one of the things that I want to segue into, is the fact that a lot of times things get extremely torturous when we don't understand, and or when the person that is expressing their position doesn't understand their audience. What I mean by this is that there's a lot of times that things have been said to many people that is just like, okay, I only want to explain it from the way that I want to explain it, and I feel like I'm dumbing myself down to explain it to somebody in a way that resonates with them. Or I'm just not skilled enough as an orator to be able to explain it in a way that other people can get it. And one of the things that really gets to me at this point in time in my life is how easy it is for things to fall apart because people don't understand. It's like if I pick up a Bible and I start talking to somebody who doesn't believe in the Bible, or they don't necessarily follow the Bible tooth and nail. Do you know how easy it is for a person to dismiss the legitimacy of anything that I say solely because I use the Bible as a reference?
Yeah. All the time.
That easily you could just turn everything that I have to say off. Oh, he one of them Jesus jokers. Okay, yeah. I ain't listening to nothing he got to say. He don't know what he's talking about. You will spend more time trying to validate why Jesus is fake or Jesus is black or about this, that, and the third. You'll spend more time because you already have a pre-programmed disposition that won't allow you to hear people, whether it's triggers or whatever have you. So much destruction happens because we get married to our perspective or our perception of a situation. I don't think a lot of people even have perspective. I think that they have a perception. And the difference between a perception and a perspective is a perspective is that I understand multiple facets of a situation. And in doing so, this is what I resonate most with. It's not saying that I don't understand your position. It's not saying that I don't get what you're trying to say or I don't understand where you're coming from. It's just
Yep.
saying that in my life, this works for me better. A lot of people who have perception is that they have a grain of information and they're married to that grain of information. Everything revolving around that grain of information makes them feel smart. And anytime that an opposing point of view comes around, it's more incumbent on me to try to shut it down or debunk it or shout it down or use tactics to make it or to make it irrelevant than to actually hear the opposing point of view out to see if there's any legitimacy to what's being said.
Well, I think that I think that, and I mentioned it, a little bit ago about growing up. You come up with these different type of ideologies and thinking a certain way and moving a certain way, certain information that you just latch on to because these are the thought processes from the individuals that's around you, mama, grandma, granddad, things of that nature. So when somebody like mentioned in the Bible, if somebody grew up a book warrior, saying a Bible warrior, then anything that you have to say that diminishes or goes against my thought and my belief that I've been on my whole entire life, what I'm saying? It to me, it sounds like a reprogramming. It sounds like, you trying to scrub, what I know and what I've learned and what I've grown up with and what I've, built my life on. It's my purpose. So trying to tell me anything else that goes against what I know, what I have known, what's ingrained in me, I ain't trying to hear it. And that's just what it is. And we completely just close off any type of other information. We refuse to be receptive to other thought processes. We completely cut off trying to look at things from an opposite point of view. The cliche, try other people's shoes on or put the shoes on the other people's feet, saying, to see where they coming from and to try to gain an understanding. It's like trying to pick up any type of new information that completely goes against anything that I've grown accustomed to is obsolete to me. That's it. And that's why.
I think it's a little bit more than that, but I'm definitely in 100% agreement with you on that. And it's like I'm more astonished about how torturous these differences of opinions can get to the point to where it's like entire relationships will break up. People have this inability to be able to bounce back from somebody disagreeing with them. And it really puts me at a place to where I wonder, like, where do we get to this place to where we are unable to have civil discourse and have a difference of opinion and have a, a mind of our own and still be able to be appreciated for what we bring to the table? It's like literally, and we were talking about this earlier. Like one of the things that really gets under my skin is that it makes me wonder, how is it that we can get to a place to where we will completely disregard people's feelings. We will completely just X people out of our lives altogether because we differ on opinion.
I think a lot of this started, maybe kind of more towards like maybe around 2000, maybe 9-ish, 10-ish, somewhere around there, where basically around that time, everybody was called a hater. The term hater, started flowing rampantly. And any difference of opinion, you would just simply just call it a hater. Oh, that the car is nice. I think they could have did a better job on the rims. Oh, you sound like a hater. Uh, what I'm saying? Hey, that song was dope. You know what I'm saying? I think Wiz Khalifa, what I'm saying, really took the song. I don't think the other rapper should have been on it. It should have just been all Wiz Khalifa. Oh, man, you sound like a hater. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like having an opinion was completely diminished around that time. You were not allowed to voice in if these 50 people over here said that we use Jergens lotion, we don't use Vaseline, and you say, well, I use Vaseline, you have an opinion, you need to get out of here. And it started then. So now today, the hater is now an op. It's a little deeper than that, but I'm just trying to correlate the two. Now you an op.
And that's something that I will never really be able to wrap my mind around is that I literally sit here and I look at things from a perspective of I don't agree with a lot of things that I see. But I, like many other people, have learned to just stop talking. I don't even share my opinion. I don't feel the need to. I feel like it's actually just a wasted effort when it comes down to relations between men and women, when it comes down to how we're dealing and interacting between, the young and the old. It's like literally there are some conversations that I really just don't feel the need to have with people. And despite my perspective and despite my years that I've lived and despite the validity of the points that I can bring up, like I was watching YouTube the other day, and not YouTube, but it was a Facebook post. And this guy, older guy, he was just talking, ranting and raving, talking about, the legacy of slavery is the reason why we don't have fathers in the black community today. And I politely commented, it's like, that just simply isn't true. It's actually completely debunked, completely, completely through the U.S. Census. Like it couldn't be further from the truth. In 1920 or 1921, there's a report called the Moynihan Report.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Moynihan Report, they stated that they thought it was an epidemic back then where we were at 25% single parent households. From 1865,
Yes, they
from 1865 to 1965, the max that we had of single parent households was 25%. And from 1965 to 2023, that number jumped from 25% to almost 80%. So what happened over 100 years since the end of slavery, over 50 years of the Great Society, it's a lie. And the fact that you said this shows that either you're disingenuous or blatantly uneducated.
probably the latter.
Probably all of the above. At this point in time, what won't we do for clicks and views? But then even then, for me to say what I just said, I cited my source, and it's publicly verifiable information. I will still be looked at like a hater. I still don't know what I'm talking about. Just like the one episode that we did to where the Bureau of Labor Statistics that indicated that all the stats about single mother households and the prison systems, like when I was told that there was no legitimacy to what I was saying because, I know what I know versus 50, 60 years of statistics. But my opinion is more valid than your facts. When did we get this way?
We got this way because feelings are now classified as a valid point of proof today.
Elaborate on that.
So it doesn't matter how many statistics that I show you. It doesn't matter how much documentation I show you. It doesn't matter if I physically take you someplace and have you sit down and just watch the statistics unfold right in front of you. It does not matter because that's not your lived truth. It does not exist.
That's insane.
And the point, there's plenty of podcasts. I'm not going to name no names because, what I'm saying, we still trying to get big. But there's been plenty of episodes, multiple episodes from major podcasts where they bring on, a lot of individuals, and they're openly admitting, like, I'm perfectly comfortable living in my delusion. It doesn't apply to me. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. This is great that you showed me the U.S. consensus. This is fantastic. I still don't believe it. I don't care.
I don't think it's so much of a I don't believe it. It's just that I think that a lot of people believe that they are the outliers. They believe that, okay, that may be them, but that's not going to happen to me because either I'm smarter or I'm going to do it better or I understand it better or I'm just okay with riding the ride and seeing where it ends. You see, one of the big issues that happens in a lot of these situations is there's more to it than what meets the eye. You have to understand a person's story on an individual basis to understand how they draw a conclusion. If you came from the slums of a certain place and you tell me that for this brief period of time, I get to live on top of the world, although the detriment of long term may be messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But you mean that I get to be on the top of the world? When you have people who their entire lives have been revolving around seeing very short term gains, do you think that they'll be able to automatically jump out of the mindset of seeing a short term gain as an opportunity? So going back to the fate conversation, the destiny conversation, that when my short term time comes, when my hot girl summer comes, that it's my turn. Whatever happens after that is the way that God intended it to be. Because I wouldn't have grown up in the slums. I wouldn't have grown up in this terrible place if it was meant for people like me to have better. So when I'm on, I'm gonna be on. And when I'm not on, I just accept it as what it is.
But if we follow in the theory that you're able to, uh, produce your own destiny and you get to create your own destiny, then that thought process completely, is completely the opposite of what we discussed earlier.
Well, that's what I said. That's why you have the two schools of thought. You have the person who grew up in the slums who said, I can do better, that climbed out of every obstacle that was standing in their way because of the fact that you understood that there's an equality of opportunity, not an equality of outcome. You have people who understand that they don't have the benefit of pretty privilege. They don't have the benefit of being able to use their looks or use their sex appeal to get them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And they understand that I'm climbing from much further down the totem pole socially to get to a respectable area. Excuse me. So, considering that some people understand that and identify with that, and they are willing to do what it takes to climb that tree, and some people they just accept it as that life in Beverly Hills. That's not for me. Why go off and work hard to get the Mercedes Benz when I can go and get go throw some candy paint on my Oldsmobile?
Now you said something. You kind of breezed past it. So you said there it's predicated on the quality of the opportunity, but not the quality of the outcome or the end result or something along the lines of that.
Nope.
That's him.
What I said is that some people understand that life works, that there's an equality of opportunity, but not an equality of outcome. But they also understand that they have to climb further to access those opportunities. But it's not saying that they're not available to you. It just means that you started off on step 2 while somebody who had generational wealth and information may have started off on step 9 and you have to get to step 10 to reap the benefit of the opportunity.
Now, with step 2 and step 9, do you think that following the code of being able to create your own, do you think that these same steps are equal across the board for everybody to have an opportunity to get out of the slums?
That's kind of a loaded question, but I'll answer it to the best of my ability. Because there's only so many jobs, there's only so many opportunities, there's only so much this, so much that. The thing is that, like anything else, You have some people who are going to get the job and some people who are going to create them. There's only so many lawyer jobs. There's only so many industries to where everybody can go into that industry, and then that industry becomes oversaturated. There's only so many CNAs that you can have. There's only so many RNs there's only so many that are necessary to have. There's a finite amount of everything. So due to that, you have to understand that your ability to think yourself into a better situation is the first step. Step two is to be able to identify the fact that your barrier of entry may not be the same as mine. Number three is identifying the fact that no matter where I'm at, it still requires work. And number four is understanding that if this door is not open to you, don't be afraid to go around back and take the stairs.
All right. So again, now with those, I guess you can call them steps or blueprints that's laid out. Do you think do you think that those same steps are equal across the board for everybody? Everybody get the same shot or get an opportunity to get the same chance to walk down the path of that blueprint?
Yes,
Everybody.
yes.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
Unless you are mentally incapacitated and unable to think for yourself and require assisted living, yes. I do believe that if you applaud yourself, you can do it. Now, that's not to say that everybody is qualified to be a doctor. That's not saying that every.
Right. I just mean everybody
Look,
has
I
an
got to put the
opportunity.
disclaimer out there for because we dealing with viewers.
Right.
But no, it's like if you want to be more than your environment, you have every right to be more than what your environment is. If you don't know what needs to be done, there are mentors, seek one. There are counselors, get one. I was just having a conversation the other day, and in that conversation, we were talking about a particular character trait that was lacked. That there are people that you can pay money to that can help you tap into that piece of yourself to help you acquire that thing or help you bring out that part of yourself that will help you to unlock that door that you're trying to get down. And it was met with resistance and resentment. And with that, I have to remember that just because I see something a certain kind of way doesn't mean that you see it there. That means that you have capped or you have peaked at the point to where you say, I'm not willing to do X, Y, Z. That is where you have peaked. Because the next general manager of said company, the next CEO, CIO, CFO, CEO, whatever COO, the next chief executive of any institution, the reason why they got there is because they reserved their nose. They cared more about developing the thing that they lacked than they cared about what they did not want to do. The
Yeah.
desire to reach the pinnacle of my potential was much greater than my desire to do what I want, how I want it, because I understood that once I get to the top, I have all the flexibility and I have all the movement. That's something that you can't necessarily get across to people evenly. But these are things that people go to school to learn. As I've stated to many people, is that once you get past a certain level, I don't care what it is. Once you get past the entry barrier of anything that you're doing, everything is based on relationship at that point. Somebody is dying to teach you something, but you have to do what's necessary to get in their graces and their favor. I don't care what you think. Every industry has gatekeepers. People are like, oh, I can't get loans to get this type of business off the ground. Oh, so and so is keeping us out. They're not keeping you out. You just want to bully and muscle your way into something that people have protected and locked. They got into these industries, they secured their generational wealth in those industries, and they're not just openly letting anybody in. Just because you want to get in does not mean that they're going to let you. You have
Right.
to understand that relationships matter. So when you get to that place to where say, oh, I'm not about to do this. Oh no, I'm not about to do that. They want me to do such and such and such. I ain't working for free. I ain't nobody's intern. Okay, then this is the area where you have officially peaked at your potential. There's nothing else I can say to you because I just gave you the blueprint. I told you what to do. That person over there told you what the expectation was. I told somebody you want to get promoted, the easiest way to get promoted is whatever your boss's pet peeve is your pet peeve. When that pet peeve changed, that your pet peeve changed. Whatever your
Mhm.
boss flavor of the month is, that's your flavor of the month. And when they see that you see the picture, you move to the you get the access to the next level. I get to bring you amongst the group of people who I'm amongst the group of, and then they start to identify you as a peer, and those opportunities start to just slide right in.
Mhm. You mentioned something, and we spoke about that before, where college, going to college isn't just all about higher education and getting the good grades and all that. That's fantastic. What's really finna get you in good graces is building those relationships. Like I said it before, you need to go over to the chess club and you need to be friends with them. You need to go over here to this club. You need to go over there to that organization. You need to go to this event. You need to go to that event. You need to get involved and start building your network.
That's what it's all about. That's literally what it's all about. It's like people love doing things the hard way just to say that they did it the hard way. I don't understand what the obsession is to be able to say I did it on
I
my
don't
own.
need I built this from the ground up. So proud.
I'm
And
so proud to say
that's
that I did it. That
great.
I you said what?
I said building it from the ground up. Okay, kudos, more power to you. But you probably could have shaved off maybe 10, 15 years going over here to talk to this dude or this chick or that chick who already built it and been running it for 50 years.
Or or even that other aspect of it. There's no reason why me and you should get into an argument and all of a sudden we can't get no money together.
Mm.
We started off our conversation having a conversation where we were on different sides of the spectrum about a conversation. And when he listened to what I had to say, he realized that not only was I able to validate his side of the point, but I was able to give him another perspective to see things on. I didn't invalidate his point. I didn't try to make him seem stupid because of his point. I didn't try to say, oh, well, you're not educated. You don't know this. I didn't use, excuse me, certain types of language to make him feel like he was less than. It's just that I showed him that by using the words in context, you can understand how some people think this way and how some people think this way, but they all are consistent with a specific word. It's just an approach. The approach is different, but the message is the same. With that being said, I could have used certain trigger words that I know would have upset him. I could have said certain things that try to make it seem like I'm smarter. Because yay, it appears that I won the argument. So you could tap dance on somebody's pride or whatever you want to do. But I know that that's not going to do anything constructive. On the latter end, his pride could have gotten away. It could have said, hey, you just made me look stupid online. even if I didn't. And right there, a relationship could have bursted solely because of nothing. And I don't understand why, at this time in our lives, while we still destroy money opportunities, we destroy family opportunities, our children don't get a chance to grow up with each other, our communities are in shambles because of nothing, because we don't agree about silly stuff. That's something that I would really ask people. It's time to get over the petty stuff. There's no gain from it. There's no win from it. Just because we disagree, that either means that there's an opportunity to learn a different perspective, or there's an opportunity for you to grow the F up and move on with your day.
I think that once we start to really start working through pride, I think that's going to be the game changer, especially on the male side, where we can actually come to each other, have this conversation, try to figure out, okay, where's the common ground at? Where's the common denominator at in this? Okay. You know, situations, a lot of situations don't necessarily always have to escalate to where there's a point of no return. Just a simple conversation that could be had. But yeah, pride is definitely something that, you know, as men, we need to really work on that. There, and it's not to say that pride is a bad thing. There's definitely things to be prideful of. Something that you've built, something that you've accomplished. You know, you work massive hours on it. You put so much energy and things of that nature. And you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with having pride, but pride as in, you know, I'm not finna let you think that you bigger than me. You ain't ever finna disrespect me and all this and that. Like we really need to chill out with that and really start coming to a common ground with each other. You know, we losing this race. We're slowly starting to gain some traction. And in order for us to really get these wheels spinning and burning some rubber for real, we got to work together. We got to band together and we got to talk to each other.
I mean, at this point in time, the stupidity really just has to, and it's like I just call it stupidity. I know many people may, feel whatever. I don't care what you think, and it's like I'm just gonna say this openly and blatantly, and it's like I'll take whatever backlash that comes with it. I don't care what people think. I don't care. I've sat back and I've did the history, I've did the knowledge, and I grew up in situations. I have siblings that I have a hard time talking to now because of manipulative tactics, because they won't see the world for what it is, and they're still trying to find ways to do things that are malicious in intention. They don't desire anything greater in life. And it's like you just don't realize that you're like quicksand. You'll drag down anybody who steps in your path. And for whatever reason, it's just like it's not like relationships are parasitic. You latch on to a new host, and when somebody like somebody who they might owe you money, and then they go a long period of time without speaking to you, and they call you back all of a sudden and start picking up where they left off, hoping you forgot that they owe you money. That's what a lot of my relationships have been like. I have been in relationships that have been, and when I say relationships, I mean just dealing with people in general. Is that a lot of relationships that I've had with people have been torturous in nature, and I had to own my responsibility in those relationships. A lot of female friends and relatives that I had around me, they were miserable. And I would sit back and I would try to get them advice and try to walk them through situations they were going through in their lives. And the reality was that I was enabling them to never actually deal with the problems, because I was always there to lend an ear. But you know what? I realized that when I hit my problems and I had to take a step back, they got mad at me because I wasn't available. Because the nice friend, what they say that other friend, that person that is always available when they're not available, and all of a sudden you take it personal. It's a slight. It's an attack. It's everything other than it's my turn to reciprocate.
Mm-hmm.
They're always there for me. Maybe today I need them, or maybe today they need me instead of the other way around. So maybe I could put myself to the side to be the strong friend because they're down. But they treat things like an endless supply bank accounts where it's withdrawal after withdrawal after withdrawal, but it's never a deposit.
It's a platinum card. Just swipey, swipe, swipe.
So now, a lot of those relationships are gone. But they're gone because I literally had to completely excommunicate myself from these people. And there's long periods of time that I go without talking to my sisters because we get to this place to where the nature that they possess is like if you get too comfortable. Like I literally had within a week's time, I had every one of my sisters ask me for money. To some people, it's like, oh man, you should feel like a man that they're able to rely on you to do such and such and such. And it's like, no, where's your husband? Where's yours? Like, why have you not accomplished anything yet? What's the problem? What's the real problem? If there's a mental reason and there's something that you're not able, go see a counselor, go see a life coach, talk to somebody who is qualified to help you with your problem. If you truly identify, A, that you have a problem, if every time that you get money, it just right out your hand, you got a problem. If you have vices, drinking, smoking, partying, clubbing, hanging out, whatever have you, you have a problem. If you can't support it and pay your bills at the same time, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I would prefer it. I would prefer it if, as family, we could build together, create wealth together, raise our children together, own property in the same area together, live around each other, borrow and lend to each other, make money bounce several times with each other. But I can't. I can't do it. Not until or unless people come to the realization that the same work that I had to do to identify what I was making mistakes, they have to do the same thing. And as a community, we have to start identifying and telling ourselves the truth. And it was something that you mentioned earlier about something that our community has lost. And when we lost this, I think that this is one of the most important things that we lost. And that's the reason why we have everything spiraling out of control. Remember what that word was that you used?
Shame.
Say it a little louder.
Shame.
Say it a little louder.
Shame.
You want to go ahead and deliberate on that, Pastor?
So the story that I was talking about was there was this young lady that came up on this show. Again, not gonna say names. She came up on this show trying to look for a mate. The young lady already had 7 children with 4 different men. The bad part about it was that she was on the show and she was pregnant again on the show, and her youngest was under 1 year old. I said that the reason that this young lady is out of control like this is because she has nobody in her corner that love her like she's supposed to be loved, telling her that she's out of order, telling her that she need to chill out, telling her she need to sit down. telling her that she need to get herself together. She's on this show being reckless again. So now this is all public. So now her recklessness, her inability to make qualified and justifiable decisions, intelligent decisions, is now all out in the open. And now she's looking for a mate to now come into this this entrapment of poor decision making to build a life of more poor decision making, because there's no
She's
shame.
not looking for a person to build a life with. She's looking for somebody to bail her out.
To bail her out.
You can't share a life with that. You can't.
There's no shame. It's spiraling way out of control. We're all out in public or on record disrespecting people's moms, disrespecting people's graves, having babies left and right out of wedlock. I mean, like completely celebrate being the baby mama and baby daddy, and completely despise being a wife or a husband. We have grown to love the short-term gain of being with somebody, or the women today, not all, gotta say not all, they have grown into this, I like to call it, homie hopping, where you get involved with a man, you try to get whatever money or whatever you can out of it, and then you bounce to the next dude, versus whatever money, riches, or whatever that you're looking for. If he has it and the relationship is real, why would you not keep it long term? Like, what do you get out of the short term? Because once you finish the job, now you have to get hired again. It's like being a contractor. You get the contract, you do the job, now you're fired again. Now you got to try to find another contract. You do the job, and now you're fired again. Like, why not find a contract that's a lifetime contract, or 50-year plus contract, and now you solid.
Well,
You ain't got a home.
Well, let's just be truthful with this, right? The reason why that does not happen, and the reason why that will not happen, is because, as you stated, number one, there's no shame for actions. I remember I was having a conversation with my daughter not too long ago, and as we were talking, I had told her, my opinions on a few things, and I explained to her that I would prefer not to run to the Bible to give my example of the reason why I disagree with certain behaviors. But I rather look at things from a natural standpoint, and do they make sense? And when you look at the chemistry of how the world has operated since its existence, certain behaviors don't actually produce anything. If you take plants and they don't get any sunlight, do they grow to the strength that they need to grow to be able to produce food and other things that they're intended to do? They don't. If you don't water them, you leave them out in the sun all day and they don't actually get any water, do they grow to their full potential? No, they die. There's a natural connection between all things and how they work. Those plants, in turn, their waste is our lifeblood. So they exhale oxygen and breathe in the CO2, and we breathe in the oxygen and breathe out the CO2. There's a natural reciprocity.
So, it's a beautiful harmony.
So anytime that you disrupt the harmony of the way that things work, and that does not produce anything, it is out of order with the natural balance of how life works. So we're not talking about anything else other than behavior. Any behavior that is outside of the natural order is deviant. And it's not saying deviant as far as bad or good. It just disagrees with the natural order for the way which the world works. So if I know that spending up my entire check on lottery tickets and not paying my lights, water, rent, or whatever else have you, and then none of those lottery tickets turn out to be winners, why would I be surprised when I'm out on the street? Why would I be surprised when when the result comes down and the result is not positive? Why would I be surprised that is not a positive result? It's asinine to believe that when you do things that are out of harmony, that when you use drugs, that using drugs are going to be out of harmony. When you have children that you cannot afford to take care of, and then those children become wards of the state, become future inmates, future drug addicts, future runaways, future low income earners, future welfare recipients. When these things happen, they're out of order. So why do we act as if we don't know that there is a balance for things, that mom, dad, children, raise children, educate children, send them out to be productive. They go out, do the same thing. And there's a harmony, there's a balance. There are families where there's mom and dads together. There are communities where there are communities. There are things that are coming in because the money is coming into one household. And as that money is coming into one household, it is being distributed appropriately for things that are necessity. When we know that the woman is the majority spender of the family or of the household, her spending habits when she has a family are going to be more based on the necessities of the household rather than leisure expense. There is a harmony. And when you disrupt that harmony, you see what you get. You get Sex in the City culture. You get everything else. You get all of this stuff that's out of whack. You get all of this. I can do bad by myself. I got my own bag. I can do what I want. I'll buy what I want because there is no. And where there's disagreement, there's nothing positive to come out of it. Let's go. All right, guys, that's our time. Y'all know how we give it up here at the Extraordinary Man. You guys know what time it is. It's the time for, if y'all are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, this is the time that you can get directly in tune with the YouTube channel with that link that's right over there. You take this slightly intelligent device that you can get Chat GPT, make it an even smarter device, and get the app and put it on your phone, and you scan that QR code right there. Bless you.
Thank you.
And you go ahead and subscribe to that channel right there. It is very good for you. It'll make your life a lot better. You guys are in tune with the process. What you got to say, King?
You know what? I don't want to say anything. I want everything that was just said, especially that last part, that last segment, that last. I just want people to really take that in, let that soak in, and let it marinate for real. Like, really think about that. That's all I got to say. Like, marinate on that.
All right. Well, we're going to marinate on the sauce that we put on them ribs. I am
Yes, sir.
Phil Jones. Mike Jones, have you guys know me personally and professionally. I am the host of the Extraordinary Man podcast. You guys know who that handsome gentleman who was on the right side of me, but now is behind or underneath me. Pause. State your name.
You crazy, bro. Man, really appreciate y'all for tuning in. We are 341 strong on the YouTube channel. Please go like, share, subscribe, and click the bell. Please tap in with us. Also, make sure you hit us up on the Extraordinary Men Facebook group where you can tap in with us directly. We don't bite, man. You can reach out to us. You can talk to us. We can discuss things, mental health, financial crisis, credit, you name it. You know what I'm saying? We can have a talk. We can create a plan, and we can do whatever it is to get you back on track. We do all that here. All right. I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
All right, y'all. Thank you for y'all time. Peace.